Hello Sagittarius, and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements, looking at your current energy and answering the question, what do you need to know in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self? Friendly reminder that these are general readings and they are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and to leave what does not. Last thing is that any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading or coaching session with me is in the description box below. All right, Sagittarius, we're going to jump on in. We're going to start with looking at overall energy through oracle cards first, and then we're going to dive into tarot, looking at the details of your situation, the hope, the fear, the blockage and hidden energies, the guidance, and the outcome. But let's first start with overall energy. What are you guys dealing with? Prosperity lies ahead, a new start is coming, and luck is on your side. Whoa. This is powerful energy. When I was shuffling, I just kept hearing, yes, this is the right choice. Yes, this is the right choice. You're headed toward a new beginning here, Sagittarius, but there's a lot of overthinking and second guessing, and that's natural. You know, that's natural with any new beginning in our life. I think it'd be weird if we weren't overthinking and second guessing, right? You know, we're humans, we're wired for a certain experience, and when we start to change that experience, it's really easy for that fear to really start to creep in. And I think that you're headed in a very like magnetic direction. I don't necessarily know what that means, but it's almost like the steps that you're taking, the actions that you're taking, the ways that you're shifting right now. It's shifting not just your outer world, obviously, but what has to come before that. It's shifting your inner world. So it's almost like the energy that you're sitting in, it's very magnetic. And I think that this is coming after a very difficult period too. I think that this shift has been a really long time coming, and is one that, to be honest with you, I think you're kind of owed after, like I said, a pretty difficult period. You might not feel this shift yet. That's the thing. And I think that, you know, maybe you don't even know, like when I say like, yes, this is the right choice, maybe you're not even aware of what that is yet. Like that hasn't presented itself to you. And I think that there's a need to almost like at this point in time, give yourself permission to believe that these things are coming, because I think that it's hard to believe that things are going to shift for the better when we've been dealing with difficult periods for so long. But yeah, I mean, this is crazy good, crazy powerful, crazy exciting. And we'll just see, because all three of these, you have new moon in Taurus, new moon, just new moon in general, and then the new moon in Sagittarius. So this is all new moon energy. This is all new energy, new shifts, new experiences, new cycles, new opportunities. And I almost feel like it's very unexpected and sudden, and there's a need to say yes to it before you're 100% sure of it. But I don't know. Okay, let's see, Sagittarius. Let's break this down more here. The devil right out of the gate is not what I expected. Okay. All right, we're freeing ourselves from attachments. That makes sense. Maybe attachments to the past, attachments to how things have been, unhealthy patterns too, like healing certain addictions or unhealthy patterns of behavior. This feels like a very... You know what's so interesting? What you don't realize is you said yes to the good stuff before the good stuff arrived by dealing with this. Because I feel like this devil card is kind of getting to a place where you're kind of like, enough is enough. Experiencing unhealthy environments or unhealthy relationships, or, maybe dealing with a toxic person or whatever. And this very much feels like putting your foot down, but not just with other people, but with yourself too. putting your foot down when it says, I deserve better, so I'm going to treat myself better. And I think that like this shift, like I said, was very powerful, and you don't realize that it's opening up a lot of doors for you. Not just like one. There's a lot of doors opening up for you because of the work that you've been doing. What's the hope here? Or maybe if you've been contemplating doing that stuff, that's where that's like, yes, this is the right choice. Like requiring you to believe that good stuff is coming before it appears by not settling for the not so good stuff. What's the hope? Ten of Swords is the hope is just kind of funny, but I get what it's saying. The hope is, I don't want to go through that. I don't want that. Like, I feel like you're looking at what you've been through and you're like, I don't know what, like, I don't want that. Because yeah, like I said, you're coming out of a really difficult period, and I feel like you're wanting this difficult period to be over. And you're close. This is very much like light at the end of the tunnel kind of energy, even if, and I will say, I feel like you might be feeling some shifts already, even if the full shift hasn't taken place, like some lighter energy. Maybe you're finding yourself, because I know that when we go through difficult periods, it's like every day you're thinking about it and you're feeling it and you're crying. And then, sometimes a few months pass and then you go, oh my gosh, I haven't thought about that today, or I haven't cried in a couple of, days or weeks. And it's like healing, kind of happens in steps. And I think that, whatever it is that you've kind of been coming out of, because I feel like you've been coming out of, like I said, a pretty difficult period for a while too, it served its purpose in your life. And I think we have to remember that. We go through things that are here to help us grow, heal, evolve, shift, change. And if we're willing to take on the role of doing that, the student and the person who's willing to learn, there's no need for that experience anymore. So we can trust that things are going to get better, because why would we go through that if I learned what I needed to from that? So, but I get that, like not wanting to go back to how things felt in the past, but I feel like you're different now, especially like if you're kind of freeing yourself from this devil energy, because I feel like this devil energy has had you trapped. Okay, what's the fear? Whoa. The Hierophant, the Ten of Wands, and the Seven of Swords. There's so much fear of the future right now. And I think that the fear of the future stems from what it is that you have been through. Because I think that, when we go through really difficult periods, or we've been in really difficult periods for a while, we kind of get into this mindset of like expecting the worst, always being on guard, always, fearing that, the other shoe is going to drop. And I feel like there's this sense of peace with where you're headed. And I think that it's because it's a place, a situation or a path that you've never walked before. And it's one that you weren't fully ready for until now. And I think that that's why you need to trust that the outcome is going to be different, because again, you're different and the situation is different. You kind of go into, for some of you, maybe not all of you, but there's been a very spiritual aspect to this. Maybe you kind of going through a spiritual awakening. Maybe for some of you, like if this resonates, dark night of the soul kind of energy. But yeah, it's been painful, but it's been powerful. And I will say, like, coming from experience, some of the most painful situations in my life ended up leading me to some of the best things I ever experienced. And it's not that I am so grateful for those things or I want to go through them again, but we can't have the light without the dark, right? We can't have the good without the bad. And sometimes we reach these lows that crack us open to so much more light. We get our heart broken so hard that opens us up to more love. Like, I feel like there is kind of a purpose for what you've been going through and navigating here. And I feel like that you'll see that as things progress. All right, hidden energies and blockages here for Sagittarius. Hangman. You've done your part. You need to let the universe do its part. Right now, yeah, because there's the Emperor. And this is what I feel like is hidden from you. The universe is moving a ton of things in your favor right now. I feel like there's so much going on behind the scenes. And so if there's like a delay or if there's a pause or if you're not experiencing that shift, it's because things aren't fully aligned yet. So it's almost like, and this doesn't mean you stop showing up. It doesn't mean you stop working on healing or growth. It just means that you trust that things are being taken care of for you, because that's where your power lies, right? Focusing on what you can control and giving over the rest. But the universe is really like kind of just like moving things in your favor here. However, okay, the surrender aspect is going to be absolutely necessary, because if you try too hard to control or to force, you might find yourself in a repetitive cycle. I don't really feel like this collective that I'm talking to, I don't feel that though. I don't. I feel like there's just this need to continue to work on letting go and surrendering and trusting that you're being led to better things. Because, I mean, it's obvious that you are. But I also think that your fear of the future and your anxiety, all of that is absolutely valid. And it's not just going to go away, okay? I've really learned that we start to feel more safety in our body and in this experience the more that we allow our nervous system to experience good things. And I feel like for you right now, Sagittarius, because you've been through so much for so long, I feel like it's hard to believe that good things are coming. Not that you've experienced nothing good, okay? I don't necessarily mean that, but like this shift is big. And I think that it's really exciting. And it's not just happening. It's happening because you've put the work in to change it, to shift it. So this is like a payoff of your healing, your growth, your willingness, like I said, to learn and to do the hard stuff. What is the guidance here for you? Okay. Okay. That's hard. You got to shift. So you 5 of Cups in reverse. You've got to shift expectations. And I know, again, from experience how hard this is, but going from shifting yourself to expecting the worst to expecting the best really is only a mindset shift away. And, when we expect disappointment, we expect things never to work out, we're going to consistently see our life through that lens, right? We're going to see obstacles and challenges and blockages and all of the reasons why it's not going to happen and why we're not going to get there, why we're not enough. But the more that we can shift from expecting disappointment to expecting miracles, the more that we might see paths and opportunities that we wouldn't see otherwise. And I think that that's what this is really about. It's like a brand new shift, brand new opportunities, but it requires you to believe pretty heavily in good things being able to happen for you. And I think that, that's maybe where a lot of your work really needs to go right now, is not necessarily on what you're doing, but more so on the mindset and maybe even your relationship with your spiritual connection of your own understanding, really trusting that you are supported, that you are guided, and ultimately, and this is like the biggest thing I hear, that it's safe to expect good things. It's safe to expect your life to go well. It's safe to expect things to be easy and fun and enjoyable and to work out better than you might be able to see right now. Does that mean there's not going to be obstacles and challenges? Of course not. Life is always going to have obstacles and challenges and setbacks and roadblocks, but you can expect that there's always a way to move through them. You can expect that it's always taking you to something better. And I feel like right now, it's kind of like when things don't work out, it's like, yep, that's to be expected. Things never work out for me, or, I always get my heart broken, or I always end up left, or whatever. If you expect it, Not intentionally, but subconsciously, you might be creating it. And I'm not blaming you for what has happened to you, okay? We expect what you've experienced, but you don't have to be a product of what you've been through. You can decide in this moment what you want to experience and start making decisions as if those things are working out for you. Is it easy? Absolutely not. Is it possible? Hell yeah. And so I feel like right now Spirit's asking you to do some of that more deeper like mindset work. And it's not toxic positivity where it's everything is working out for me all the time and it's always easy. But more so, you can accept your reality as it is, and you can say things like, okay, this is hard and this is difficult and this doesn't feel good, but I'm going to trust and be open to solutions and guidance and, creative ways for me to move through this. So I feel like there's a lot of really good things that are happening for you. It doesn't feel like it yet, and your expectations right now might actually be blocking you from seeing certain opportunities. Like, if you don't believe that good things can happen for you, you're never going to start that business. If you don't believe that good things are happening or can happen to you, you're never going to move to the place that you dream of living in. If you don't believe good things are going to happen for you, you're never going to go on that date, or you're never going to, be open to, to love in the form of what you deserve. And sometimes, we don't realize it, but if we expect disappointment, we settle, and we settle for a lot less than what we deserve. And then, we experience disappointment because we're settling. So just paying attention to that aspect of it, I think, can be really helpful for you as you navigate this. What is Sagittarius needing to know moving forward? This is the outcome. Ooh, it's happening fast. Eight of Wands. It's fast. It's quick. To the Sun. The Eight of Wands to the Sun. It's going to happen faster than you think. The good things are going to happen faster than you think. Does that mean next week? Probably not. Okay. But if you're sitting here going, I'm not going to be loved or stable for like 6 years from now or whatever, like, I feel like you're punting off your happiness to some future point. Start believing that it's happening for you now, right? Be grateful for where you're at, but you can be excited about where you're going, because this is good. This is exciting. You have a lot to be excited about here, Sagittarius. And I think that that's maybe also like working on being, I'm so scared of what's going to happen. Be excited about what's going to happen. Again, it's not always easy, and I know that. But I really feel like the more that you can start to shift yourself into that mode of thinking, into that vibration, the more you're going to align with the miracles that are quite literally being set in place for you. So I'm excited for you guys. This is obviously a really interesting and exciting reading. I think that, you guys, it's well-deserved. You guys have been through a hell of a lot. There's still some things definitely that you're going to need to work on and address, but there always will be. So I feel like you're going to be pleasantly surprised here with how things unfold. All right, I'm going to hop on over to the extended. We're going to dive deeper into these messages. I'm going to clarify each card and then ultimately answer the question, what do you need to do right now in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self? So looking more at that tangible advice, and I've got an advice card to pull for you at the very end. Thank you so much, Sagittarius, as always, for your support of my channel. I do obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Sagittarius.